Oh, no, you don't. You think you can come to my city. You think you can come to my Capitol grounds, pull a fucking false flag on my land and try and take my rights away from me? Take it away from my citizens? Take it away from my fellow countrymen? This is what you're going to try and do? We're going to rip this apart. We are not done. No, we are not returning to normal. This is bullshit, and we are going to expose this false flag. Someone deserves to be hung for this. This is an absolute travesty, what's going on. I don't know if it's a real person dead. I've been talking to someone that has pretty close connections in with the military, and they say that this is a real person with a real death. That doesn't mean anything, because you know what? False flags, guess what? They put down 2 towers in New York, what, 14 years ago, whatever? I mean, they will do anything to gain power. It's not money, it's power, okay? And what's going on right now, when I'm looking at the news, all I see, the mainstream media, is what they're talking about. Well, you couldn't arrest him for having a radical thoughts, okay? That's what they're plugging in here. Guys, you have to wake up, okay? Anybody who's out there that's listening that is not used to looking at these things, you have to wake up. Okay, they are taking our rights away from us. Now we know the reason why this picture has been taken off the internet on so many places. As you can see here, the shadow cast by this lamppost is completely incorrect from the time given of the shooting. The shooting at the memorial was 9:52, yet this shadow denotes that it was well before 9:30. This is the Ottawa Expositor, and this has been blown wide open. Yes, hello everybody, this is Justin, the Ottawa Expositor of Free Radio Revolution. I hope everybody's doing well today. I'm taking a look at the picture here and the new damning evidence that has proved that this picture was taken well before the time of the initial shooting at the War Memorial. As you can see here, it's all in the shadows. We have a shadow gate. And basically, if it had been the time that they were saying, the shade would have been much closer to parallel with the sidewalk leading up to the Parliament. But no, we're well to the northwest. Well to the northwest. So it's looking much more like in between 9 to 9:30. And thanks to System Exposure, who has shown us and given us the link to the program that could show that. And I do have the links down below. So as we take a look there, we have those guys, and it's obvious, very obvious, that it's far from being parallel to the sidewalk. And also, I have these 2 cars, as you can see here, that are completely out of place. And I'm going to tell you why they're out of place. See the place where it shows police on the side of the squad car? Okay, and then the other 4 cars to the right, you can see it's just an emblem. Well, there's a reason for that. That's 2 completely different police forces. The ones on the right, the 4 cars on the right, those are RCMP. Now, those are the ones that properly protect, they are responsible for the security of the Parliament grounds. The other 2 on the left, they are what's called the Ottawa Police Service. And as I'm showing you here, these are the difference between the cars. And the reason why this is so important is that the Ottawa Police Service have absolutely no jurisdiction in that area. Now, I just want to make sure that it's very clear. Those roads that you see where those 6 cop cars are, okay, those are not technically surrounding streets. That is technically part of the complex. And they say, Al Jazeera goes on to say, while only vehicles for members of Parliament, government ministers, or security vehicles can enter the complex after passing rigorous security. Okay, they have to go through checkpoints. These guys had no jurisdiction to be there. Listen, if there was an emergency and they were needed, I'm sure there was some type of emergency that they can do, that they can enter onto the property. But as we have shown here, this was well before that time. This is absolute bull crap, okay? And these are lies that you've been told. No one mentions anything of it. They try and cover it up. Well, those pictures are showing the proof in the pudding. Guys, your country If you're Canadian, it doesn't really matter because it's all in all different countries. This is just our chapter. They are trying to take your rights away from you. You must do something about this. They don't deserve jail time, okay? They deserve much worse. Whoever is involved with this knowingly, and anybody that's within the police force right now, I urge you, please, please come out with any information that can prove that these people are, well, prove to the common bystander or the common citizen that this is a total false flag. This is a staged event. This needs to be addressed right away.
Oh, when I first heard about Canada terror attack in Parliament, I thought, oh my God, this could be real. They're finally going to actually kill politicians who the ones they got the gripe with, instead of, you know, citizens like you and me. We thought, oh, hang on, they might have even killed the Prime Minister. That'd make this terrorism shit real. But no, not a single politician injured. Of course, this guy is always killed, so we don't ever see or hear from him. Goes back to Lee Harvey Oswald, at least they waited one day to kill him. But yeah, the same old shit. Look at this crap walking. What if it was going to be a real terrorist? Why don't he just strap a bomb and blow the whole joint up, or actually go into the chamber and from the public gallery blast his rifle at all the politicians? But no, he just happens to shoot at statues in the hallway. Oh, but he got killed, of course, and we got some old prick, made a hero. But it's all bullshit. Even at the start, they got to kill a soldier or a cop because got to make the soldiers and cops look like good guys. And just like in Boston, when someone's supposedly dead or dying, they've got 1 million people surrounding them, and you never see the dying body. No wonder they die, because they can't freaking breathe with all these people around them. But that's all we saw. And interviews, the worst interviews I've seen since 9/11, all fake. Couldn't even do their lines properly. But what I'm going to show you here is something. Forget about all this other shit, but something I'm going to show you. It would just 100% prove it's a hoax. A little video clip that you might like. As we see this news report, I just want you to focus on these cops. They're pretty cheery. Check this guy with the rifle. Don't know what he's aiming at, but this is gonna rock your socks. I mean, this is serious stuff. There's no jokes about this. If this was real, everyone would be in a serious mode as he looks towards the camera. Smiles, bit of a smile there. Checks his earpiece. Gets better, folks. He's pretty happy, this guy. He knows he's being filmed. He gets up, gets his earpiece. Have a look at this. Let's have a laugh. Hilarious. What's this guy so happy about? I mean, this is supposed to be serious stuff, mate. Having a ball. Oh, because it's all fucking bullshit, that's why. Yeah, you gotta love cops that, just love their job. Nothing's too serious. Yeah, let's have a laugh. Even the other idiot laughing. Have a look at them both. Look at the fucking sunglasses on it, will you? Look at this. Look at them both. Fucking happy as Larry. How long has this shit been going on in Canada, they're saying? About time we had a laugh with these fucking hoaxes. Well, I love my ice hockey, and I was just checking out 22nd of October's 4 games, and lo and behold, we have a game here postponed. It happens to be in Ottawa. What's the coincidence? Ottawa Senators were playing that same night. They got a lockdown in Ottawa. Just happened to be playing another Canadian team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, would you believe? You can't tell me this wasn't set up to be on the same time, same day.
Yes, I mean, check this out. The hands here across the chest here, right? I mean, there's his glove, his hand, right? And his other hand is here. What are they pumping on? If he's got his hands across his chest, what is this guy pumping on? Check it out. Right? You can clearly see this is a hand here, and this is the glove here and the other hand. So this corporal here has his hands across his chest. that would be impossible to perform CPR like that. I know, I've done CPR, or at least I've practiced it, and never saved anyone's life doing it, but I can tell you I know how to do it, and that's how you do it, sort of thing, right? Actually, we used to practice on dummies as well. So you would go right over the chest, right? You'd form kind of like a ball with your hands, your two hands coming together, and you'd pump, 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 right? And you've seen it a million times, whether it be in movies or television or even in real life sometimes. You'll see it in the hospitals and stuff when they're rushing some patient in, right? You cannot have somebody with their hands across their chest when you're trying to pump, right, oxygen and blood to the heart. You gotta be shitting me. You're trying to get these, it's not possible, right? You can't have your hands across your chest. That would never happen, okay? And you'll never see it once where someone is giving CPR where the hands would be going across the chest. The hands would be down on the side to be out of the way, and the person would be pumping directly on the chest. But look at this. What is this guy pumping on? His hands are way over to the side here. This is his body. This is his chest right here. His hands should be right here, right there. That's where they should be, just even a little bit higher than the hands themselves as they're crossed here. And, I mean, the hands here, it's so obvious that they're not right on the chest. Look at this. So let's play a little bit more, right? You're zooming right in so you can clearly see the hand here, right? And here's the video, right? You can see him. He's pumping off to the side. It's like he's pumping where the guy, in between the guy's arm, right over here or something, right? Like he's pumping, maybe he's got a pump or something there, but he's surely not pumping on the chest because the chest is right here. His arms would have to be back right around there, right? So you see what this is? This is a huge discovery, right? Or just in the center, right? And you can clearly see his arms are off. They're not even on the body. This is his arms crossing here. This guy's hands should be right there. That's where they should be. He's clearly not pumping the chest of Nathan Cirillo. This is absolutely massive. Oh, what an incredible find. This is so huge, right? He's not pumping on the hand. He's not pumping on his chest. Right? There's the hand. It's clear. You wouldn't be able to see his hands. And second of all, you would never have the hands across the stomach like this. No way. You would how would he have the strength if he's dying to hold his hands together like that? Because it looks like he's almost holding one wrist. You can see his other hand here, the glove there. So we're talking about a total farce here. He's way over. You can even see the angle here where the arm goes. I mean, it's nowhere near his chest. And the fact that also is that he's looking up and he's looking around. And of course, everyone has to remember that the unknown soldier tomb is right there. Okay, so this is a huge find. This is absolutely massive. And yeah, man, I think we've got him. I think we've got him so busted. This is an incredible find. This is why we need so many people to come on board. And it's all a game, right? Everybody's got to cover up a different angle. They want you to see enough of it, but not enough to make it out. That's why they use the grainy footage and everything. It's all purposely done. We've seen this so many times before. He's way away from the chest. Way! This be right there. He would have to move over almost a full foot, right? And reposition his arms so that his hands were right there. That's the sternum, right? There you can see the collar. It's right there. He's not on it. It's clear as day. This is busted, man. This is a fucking hoax. It's totally busted, man. This is sent to the stars, as press likes to say. I mean, this is so clear, all right? It's so obvious. There's his crossed hands. What the hell is he pumping on? He's pumping on a pump or something, or make-believe. Maybe they got a cushion there that he's pumping on. And they practice this shit, folks. This is what they do. They practice it, they practice it, they practice it. And then they go and they do the real thing here. This is what I try to show people all the time. There's always a ton of people. Everyone's got there's a spotter, right? And they'll have color codes, like he has the neon green shoes, and people know who he is. Everyone's got it. That's why there's so many bodies involved in this thing. Okay, this is I'm going to try and fit this in here, because this one picture is worth a thousand words kind of thing, right? This is why everyone has a position. That's why the lawyer is involved. The nurse just happens to be a nurse. There just happens to be 1, 2. This looks like a military. 3, 4, 5. They just happen to all be there at the right time. And the spotter is looking to see who's coming close. He is keeping a big eye out. He's not watching what's going on here. That's not his job. This guy's a spotter too. His job is to keep an eye out. What is this guy doing? Okay, so what he does is he holds the legs up, right? That's what this guy with the beard here is doing. But, what is this guy doing? And all of this, of course, you'd be trying to get oxygen to the guy. You wouldn't have all these bodies crouched over it. Anyways, this is a smoking gun. This is done. This is a hoax, folks, and these people should all go to jail. And anything happens to me or anybody else who's uncovering this, all right, 100%. We take a huge risk putting this stuff up, but they've exposed themselves big time on this one, and we can't afford to let them get away with this, folks. This is absolutely enormous. Here's apparently the last photo now. This is the last photo now. Now, you notice a lot of differences, right? Now, first things first is, what the hell is all this crap going around here? Because it certainly wasn't there just a couple days before that, right? 3 days before, it's not there. None of that's there. So why is all that there? And why is there police tape? There's tons of police tape, and it's all bundled up here. It looks like they've got a ton of police tape that they're ready to run with. They got a lot of barricades, and they got this tarpaulin with weights holding it down. Looks like there might be stuff underneath, right? It looks like, as you can see here, how it goes up. These are just steps. So why is there stuff under there? Why is there so much police tape? Why are there barricades? Why? Very good question, Ottawa. Maybe you can tell me, because of course when he was supposedly dying and the lawyer was giving him CPR, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and everybody else was jumping on top of him, you could see the barricades and the police tape. Do not enter, right? Entree interdit. It's French there. Caution, attention. It's police tape. Then you had the police coming out and moving everyone away from the scene. Don't get too close. We don't want you to see what we're up to, of course, right? And then you had so many people around him, you couldn't even tell that there was somebody down in there, because they're just a huge mess of people. This lady is practically lying on top of him. There's the police tape. You can see it clearly. The barricades and the weights holding down these tarpaulins, right? And the guy pointing and all that, right? And there you go. More photos of this whole thing. So the question I have for Ottawa is, what's the story with the barricades and the tarpaulin? Why was it there? What is the purpose? Why was there police tape already on the scene before he even got killed? How is that possible? Right? Does it make any sense to you? And, all of a sudden they have all the barricades out. So the barricades coming down here, right? And there. And, of course, they had a bunch around the side as well, right? So this is what happened, folks. This is what we're being fooled on, is that we have clear proof here that they had the scene set up in advance, that they had the barricades ready to go, basically, in the police tape. And it's just another really solid piece of evidence. So if anybody from Ottawa can explain it to me, but you tell me this, okay? When John Kerry comes, it's all gone. A couple days before the event happens, there's nothing there. There's no barricades, there's no nothing. And then, all of a sudden, when the event happens, just before the event, while he's standing here, you've got all this barricades here, and you've got all this police tape. And you can see it's bundled up right there, right? It's totally bundled up, so that it can be used to string right across the courtyard, sort of thing. So what I think we have here is just more proof to support that this is a totally staged event, that it's a false flag, even a hoax, right? And that they had this all set up. I don't know what they would have had underneath here. Maybe they would have had some supplies, some fake blood. Who knows? They did the same thing with Boston. Boston had a lot of stuff, a lot of barricades. Remember the barricades at Ottawa and how long it took Carlos Arredondo and co. to start removing them? I mean, they were way more concerned with the barricades. Carlos didn't stop until the very last barricade was taken down. Meanwhile, poor Jeff Bauman was there bleeding away for 5 minutes. Somehow he survived, and he's doing just great. He showed up at the hockey game a couple weeks later. So I'm telling you, folks, it's just another really solid piece of evidence here. I think this is proof. This is the day of the shooting. This is supposed to be the last photo. And as you see, just a couple days, maybe 2-3 days before, she's here with him, and there's nothing, no barricades, no nothing. So I want an official explanation why, prior to him being shot, that barricades were put in place and tarpaulins and all this. I want the explanation. And if you can't give it to me, then the only reason that they're there is because it's there for
this has to do with yesterday's supposed shooting that happened in Canada at the Canadian Parliament. And this video in particular is a first-hand shot of somebody that's ducking down. Now you can see they've got like a little tripod on their camera there, right? Okay, now this person's ducking down. They're there the whole time. You hear shooting happen. It pauses. Police run by. Let me just fast forward it here. Okay, the police run by with their guns drawn. They're not concerned with the person there, obviously, with their camera. And more people go by. Then they direct him out. As soon as all the police go by, this person with their camera runs out. And we'll just let this play through. And I'm going to show you something here that I think pretty much proves that this is fake or staged. Okay, first of all, there's somebody there holding their camera. That person right there. Now see this? Right here? See this? This is the front of a camera with a mic. And they're hiding there, but they're fully exposed. They're hiding out in the open, so to speak. So you can't see them, but they're fully open here in front of that pillar. So just watch. You see it. It's moving around. It's definitely a camera. Now that guy that just had his camera phone up runs up behind the police. See, he still has his camera up there. Now, that guy shoos him back, right? Now watch this. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's go back again. Watch again. Oh, what do you know? Another camera guy right there, and he has his camera resting on a chair. Look at that. It's a wooden chair. Has the camera resting on it. So there's two camera guys. One there, one there. Okay, now watch. Okay, this person runs out. All this footage is uncut. This is straight footage, so it's nobody's concerned with this person with their camera, their tripod there, right? Now they're all ducking around. Now let's just keep going. Now wait till you see this. And we already have two camera guys right there. Oh, there's a third camera guy right there, ducking out behind him. Okay, now they're running down the hallway. Just wait till you see this, guys. Running down the hallway. Okay, there's a couple cops. And, oh look, there's 1, 2. Hold on. We'll pan back over. Just wait for it. 3, 4, 5, and a couple microphone guys. So what do we have? 6 mainstream media cameras on scene. One propped up on a chair as the whole thing's going down. He runs from one room into the other, and there's more mainstream media cameras. There you go. And they're not hiding. Those cameras are straight up out in the open. They're hiding from other camera view. They're not hiding from any gunshots or shooters. Like they're going to let a whole bunch of camera guys go set up on each pillar. Really? Really? Unbelievable, man. Seeing this video, the link is down below. Go ahead and watch it yourself. Feel free to pause through. You might find other stuff that I missed, but, you know, by your own count, you could see there 5 to 6 different cameramen on the scene at every different angle. As the shooting goes down, like how were they all there ready to go?
Following up this Ottawa shooting, proof of false flag. Didn't even use the sound that they were doing that day. So Radio Canada Basically, they're admitting that they were there in the building. How did they get there in the building? I mean, we saw from this video that there was multiple cameras set up well before the police showed up. How does that happen? How do reporters get in a building and know where to go? How do they know that that terrorist is, or the shooter, as they like to call him now, the shooter, the terrorist? But Radio Canada supposedly owns the rights to this here. Alright, I recorded this off of the internet. As you can see, it's crudely done. Very crudely done. And I turned down the sound because I just wanted you guys to see the multiple cameras, you know, involved in the weird anomalies, like something sitting over here in the window. You know, really, a shooter ran through the building. They had time to set their coats down, their jackets. Really? Radio Canada is saying that, you know, it doesn't matter. We don't want you using this. Well, they're basically admitting they were in the building. All right? When they do this, see this? Your video may include clips that are owned by a third party. Is this like a movie or something being made? It is a movie. It's a Hollywood fucking production is what it is. And these assholes are pissed because I'm using their content. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm using their content now even. Let's see them dispute this shit. File a dispute. I did. I said I'm not making a profit. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay. Go this way. See, we're going this way. That's bullshit. Anyway, I think it's all shit. Really? They're gonna pull this video, or what are they gonna do? Sue me? Yeah, sue me for this one too. Fuck you. Fuck you, Radio Canada. Fuck you, New World Order. Fuck you, fascist pieces of shit.
Okay, guys, here we go, and the evidence absolutely piles on here, folks. An absolute smoking gun. There are many actually in this sham, but this is the biggest smoking gun yet. And for all the skeptics and people in denial, looks like we were right again. As it turns out, in light of this alternate angle that is actually quite hard to find, because they usually show another angle not showing the fake CPR here. You can do a search for it, but dozens and dozens of other angles, the other angle will come up. But this one here proves without a shadow of a doubt that this whole CPR scene is 100% fake. And shout out to the first couple of people who brought this to light, Truth Frequency Media and Terrible Tim. Kudos to you guys, awesome work. So links below for those guys. And, you know, you guys deserve your recognition. Okay, first and foremost, I thought it would be a cool idea to read some great comments and points made by many commenters pointing out everything that is wrong with this scene. Okay, up first we have House of Logic 1969. I'm an ex-EMT from Los Angeles, and you are correct. No way would CPR be performed with the patient's hand/arm in the thoracic area. We would move it, bones broken or not, it gets moved to the side. Bradley, wrong, but this time you're right. His feet are also elevated. You can see his shoes. You don't do that with CPR. The victim must be flat to the floor. Indeed. Next up, my outcat. Exactly, and you don't do compressions and mouth-to-mouth simultaneously when performing CPR. Exactly, as many are pointing out in the comments. Furthermore, the paramedics don't look especially urgent in their mannerisms during this quote-unquote emergency. Stress-free dates. Also, why is a military member and passerby performing CPR and AR when there is a trained EMT on the scene? Also, these two people are not communicating with each other to perform AR and CPR. They don't even appear to care what the other person is doing. Exactly. As you see, that's a great point. They both are not even looking at each other, not communicating. It's just a joke. Okay, to recap, number 1, hands, arms in the middle of chest and not to the sides. Number 2, feet elevated, you must be flat. Number 3, compressions / mouth to mouth simultaneously is given. Number 4, no sense of urgency, no communication whatsoever. I mean, as you see here, the dude is just like pump, 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 staring into nothing, pump, pump, and just not looking at her, not communicating. Again, no sense of urgency. It's just like methodical, right? Almost like they're doing a drill, almost like it's a sham. Yeah. That's it, folks. Busted, sent to Saturn and beyond, beyond the cube. Great job, guys. I just want to say thank you to all of you Canadian truth seekers out there, activists, researchers who have been covering this. You guys are inspiring, to say the least. Keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to continue to help each other out moving forward, okay? This is a serious moment in Canadian history as far as ramifications go. This is basically their 9/11, okay? So we got to help them out here, because whether you like it or not, this does affect us in the end. It's all connected, and the same forces staging this are the same people staging stuff over here, essentially. I mean, they are basically trying to put in place pre-crime Minority Report style laws from this event. So it is extremely important, guys. I mean, it is the precursor to the scenario where we will not be able to even speak out. Otherwise, we will be black bagged, right? V for Vendetta, black bag you, take you in, NDAA. This is what they're setting up over there in Canada. This is what they're setting up everywhere. Well, we won't be able to speak out, guys, because in a few years, we won't be able to be talking about what we are talking about here. We won't be able to expose what we are exposing here. It'll be a done deal. We will be done. Okay, it is done. That is why the window is short, and that is why it is important we get this info out right now while we still can. All right, guys, get this out there. Thanks for watching.
In what I describe as probably the most pathetic piece of media ever seen on TV by this idiot here, Evan Solomon from the CBC, trying to recreate what happened in the hallway of the Parliament building in Ottawa, recreating this absolute fucking fantasy staged hoax. What I'm going to show you is a great clip, a video that's just been made by my friend Jeff C, Free Radio Revolution. He's busted at 100% how this is a complete and utter lie. I mean, you just got to look through the videos that we've put up. Canadian shooting hoax is probably one of the worst staged hoaxes in history. Jeff's just found some info that's just going to put the nail in the coffin to this shit. I mean, why we even waste our time trying to prove this was a hoax? Anyone with a pinprick of a brain could see this is all bullshit, but especially we're going to target where this idiot starts talking about the 9 bullet holes in the wall. And this is going to blow your mind away. This is 100% busted proof. So I'll just play the end bit of Jeff's video, and yep, busted, Canada.
Memory hole blog. Yes, this is Professor James Tracy, the professor of Florida Atlantic University, who stuck his neck out during the Sandy Hook hoax. He was the first academic to come out in the United States and question the official narrative of the Sandy Hook's 100% hoax. And as a result, he was suspended, if I'm not mistaken. Many of his colleagues turned on him. The whole university threw him under a bus. The dean of the university threw him under a bus. CNN actually tried to ambush him, doing ambush interviews, all of a sudden popping out out of the woodwork right after he's finished a class, trying to catch him on the scene. And then they refused to interview him properly on Anderson Cooper's 100% bullshit, keeping them honest, Anderson 360. So James Tracy is one of these guys, one of the few academics in the world that has actually stuck his neck out to come out and call a spade a spade. And for that, he deserves tremendous amount of respect. And I will post the links for this below. You should all go and subscribe to Memory Hole blog. He does some tremendous work, and once again, he has come through with shining colors here, dealing with this Ottawa hoax. As you can see, the title here, dated October the 31st, Halloween, just yesterday, Ottawa shooting, evidence of staged false flag attack. I don't have time to go through the whole thing, and I won't. I've already covered a lot of these different angles that he's shown, but he's done an excellent job. But I want to show you the most damning piece of evidence that is here. This absolutely sinks the entire story, 100%. There's no disputing this. Here we go. Exhibit 2. Finally, the irrefutable evidence. The one giant hole that sinks this alleged crazed terrorist rampage in downtown Ottawa of any of its buoyancy. Evan Solomon, who is a 100% scumbag and should spend the rest of his life behind bars of the CBC, reveals, to use his own words, details of exactly how the incident went down in Central Block in the Hall of Honor by the library. I made so much fun of this. I showed you the Sergeant at Arms, the old senior citizen who flew through the air, flying on his back, shooting at the same time, how ridiculous it was, playing the Terminator music in the background, right? Well, take a look at Google's virtual tour of the Parliament building at the exact spot where Evan Solomon conspicuously states the location of where the shooter was shot. And this is what you get. Taken April 2013. The numbers are beside the bullet holes. These markings, folks, where they tried to show you the 9 bullets, right? They love that number. Were already there in 2013. And this is 100% verifiable right here, folks. Here's the virtual tour, right? And you can see them. Let's see if we can zoom in. There they are, folks. There's the holes, the alleged bullet holes, right? You see what I'm saying? It's all was already there. Street View, 2013. Okay? And there was Evan Solomon here showing you, right? Showing you the bullets. And there are the bullets here. The markings that were already there. Who knows what they were there? Maybe they had something up against here and they pulled it out. It looks like if I show you here, looks like these two could have been a shelf or something. You know, who knows, right? Just some damage, whatever. Somebody nicked it or whatever. And I use these as bullet holes. This scumbag here, Evan Solomon, who should spend the rest of his life behind bars, as should the entire government that is behind this, CSIS, RCMP, the works. How dare they try to do this to you, Canada? Where is the outrage? Why can you show up with flowers and tears to these fake shootings and you can't respond with anger, legitimate anger to what they are doing to you when you see the truth right in front of your eyes? This is irrefutable, folks. And I think he even posted a video here so that we can... yes, here we go. Let me just skip ahead to show you where they did it.
Tonight, we can...
Right? There you go.
You would see there are 9 bullet holes in the wall. This would be where Bibo himself was standing, let alone the number of rounds that actually hit Bibo.
Scumbag.
One bullet actually didn't even hit the alcove. It went right through the library doors, right into the library. That's a bullet hole in the desk of the library, deep inside the library. Barrage of gunfire that we've all heard. Let me give you an idea of how many rounds were expended. If you look at that alcove today, this is what you would see. There are 9 bullet holes in the wall. This would be where Bibo himself was standing, let alone the number of rounds that actually hit Bibo. In fact, one bullet actually didn't even hit the alcove. It went right through the library doors, right into the library. That's a bullet hole in the desk of the library, deep inside the library. No one was injured. All right, what happened then?
See?
Dives around the...
This is the story.
Bibo's on the other side. They are literally an arm's length from each other, just around the pillar. Sources tell CBC that the sergeant at arms could actually see the barrel of the gun sticking out from behind the pillar. But he doesn't hesitate. Kevin Vickers takes his sidearm, dives around the pillar to the ground. While he's in the air, he spins to land on his back, firing upwards at Bibeau, hitting Bibeau as he himself hits the ground. Then Bibeau drops, and Vickers continues to fire into Bibeau, emptying his entire clip.
Yeah, there you go. So this is 100% bullshit, folks. There's no way. There's no way they have been caught. There's no way they should ever get away with this, Canada. This should sink the government. This is the biggest scandal in the history of Canada. This should sink the RCMP, the government, CSIS, the whole works. Where is the outrage, Canada? When are you going to stand up for your fucking country? This we knew was going to happen, of course. This is what we've been talking about for a very long time. As you can see here off the CBC, Public Safety Minister Stephen Blaney has got a look of determination and anger on his face. This slimy reptile has just beefed up this CSIS bill, right? The CSIS powers beefed up under new bill tabled by Stephen Blaney. Public Safety Minister says it's time to stop underreacting to the great threats against us. Now, I want to say this to all Canadians out there. There is absolutely no threats to you whatsoever except from your fucking government, okay? These scumbags like this guy, Stephen Blaney, are the threat to you, okay? You've got to understand this, and this is what I've been showing for the last few days, last week or so, showing the false flag events that they carried out here just outside of Montreal, and then, of course, right in Ottawa downtown at the War Memorial and then the Senate or the Parliament. And it's problem, reaction, solution, folks, because they were going to vote on this bill this week right when this shooting happened. And wouldn't you know it, now everyone's on board. So Public Safety Minister Stephen Blaney has tabled a bill in the House of Commons today to expand the powers of the Canadian Security Intelligence Canada Spy Agency. Bill C-44, dubbed the Protection of Canada from Terrorists. The protection of Canada from terrorists. Well, the terrorists that exist in Canada are in the fucking government, okay? Was expected to be introduced last week before a gunman launched an attack in the Capitol. Wouldn't you figure? I mean, it's just how it works, right? We see it all the time. There's always a bill that's ready to go. So the proposed legislation here amends the Canadian Security Intelligence Service Act, as well as strengthening Canadian Citizenship Act and making consequential amendment to the Access to Information Act. They're just tearing down the laws that protect us as citizens. Bill C-44, as CBC News reported earlier, amends the Canadian Security Intelligence Act to give greater protection to confidential sources without having to identify them in court proceedings, even to the judge. So you don't even have to, if they get somebody giving them sources about somebody up to something bad, they don't even have to tell the judge who the source is. They could just pull it out of their ass. Then give CSIS more powers of surveillance and detention to more effectively investigate threats to the security of Canada. So more power, more surveillance, the ability to detain people without any warrant, right? The ability to hold people against their will, against their legal rights. Then, of course, give Canada Spy Agency explicit authority to operate within or without outside Canada. This would allow the agency to share information on suspected Canadian terrorists abroad with members of the so-called Five Eyes group of countries that I always go on about: the US, the UK, Australia, New Zealand. This is exactly what's happening right across the Five Eyes and right across the Western world. All these governments are tabling the same type of legislation. It's uncanny, the resemblance that these legislations have. This is something that up north of the 49th was touching on the other night on a big show that we have. I'll post the link for that show on the emergency roundtable discussion that we had dealing with this. It is beyond Orwellian where we are going as a state, Canada. And the criminals that created this farce are the ones that are going to benefit from the rights that they're going to destroy, from the powers that they're going to gain, right? These scumbags are evil beyond belief, Canada, and you cannot let them do this to you. Well, it's already being done. More anti-terrorism measures coming. Today's proposed legislation has not been altered following Wednesday's assault. Of course, because it was already all there in advance. On the National War Memorial in Canada's Centre Block, CBC has learned. CBC, yeah, good for nothing. Canadian Bullshit Corporation. The ultimate goal of the bill is to give authorities greater power to deal with some of the Canadians already on watch list who are considered most dangerous. I'm probably on that list, fuck. You know, it really is more about coming after people that are a threat to the government, and people that are a threat to the government are people that expose the government, folks. That's how it works. You expose what they're up to. You expose their dirty little false flags, their massive psyops, their incredibly criminal actions against the people of Canada. They are the ones that are terrorizing Canadians, not some fucking two-bit junkies from Quebec, you know, who've managed to somehow leave a homeless shelter and get across the entire country and end up in the nation's capital with a gun. I don't know how that works. I don't know. Funny how that works, eh? Blaney told the House of Commons Monday that it is important for new public safety legislation to be an overreaction to the events such as the attacks on Ottawa and Quebec this week, but it is equally important for the Canadian government not to underreact to threats. Okay, so he said it's not an overreaction and that we can't underreact, right? So essentially they want to overreaction. It's an overreaction. It really is, because, well, it's problem, reaction, solution, right? They have set up the problems, of course, the two false flags that they committed this week, and then they have the solution. They say, well, look, we're here. We've worked. It's just a coincidence, of course, that we've been working on this, that it applies directly to the false flags that we just carried out, and that we've convinced most of the House of Parliament they were under grave threat. The first responsibility of the government is to keep Canadians safe. Really? I think the first responsibility of this government is to keep themselves safe and in power. We will not overreact, but it's time to stop underreacting to the great threats against us, Blaney said during the question period on Monday. In addition to today's CSIS bills, Blaney said the federal government will also introduce further anti-terrorism measures. Further reforms to protect Canadians from terrorism, because we all know those terrorists, they're just coming over the border. You can't stop them, will be presented in a second forthcoming piece of legislation, Blaney said. It's done, Canada. You're losing your rights. It's, you know, anybody who's going to stand up to the government is just going to be locked up or taken out or whatever, right? Framed or blackmailed or all kinds of nastiness. This opens Pandora's box here, folks. These assholes have changed this country now. We're going to have to fight to get our rights back, because they're going to be able to spy on everyone. And you Canadians that don't fucking pay attention, maybe I should think back to about 3 years ago when Vic Tays said, the minister there of safety, I think at the time, said, you know what? You're either with us or you're with the child pornographers. Do you remember that? Vic Tays, who was having an affair with some 18-year-old girl, and he's a 65-year-old, 67-year-old, I don't know how old he is, old geezer, right? And he said, you're either with us or you're with the child pornographers. And that was giving the right for CSIS or the police, the RCMP, to go into people's computers and spy on people without a warrant, essentially. This is what this government is doing to Canada, folks. You know, you're all sipping your Tim Hortons and watching your hockey, but you're not paying attention to what they're doing. I wonder what the comments here are. Okay, Enzo Ferrari. Okay, we have 3 new bills in 1 week. Bill C-13, anyone can get spied on without a warrant. That's the cyberbullying bill, of course. Bill C-44, anyone can get charged on fake evidence. And Bill C-60, no one will hear about it because the PM appoints the CBC executive. Welcome to democracy. Well, thank God we got people like Enzo here. You are on the ball. Here's another one. Your humble narrator. It makes you wonder who you should be more afraid of, the terrorist or the Harper government, who never miss an opportunity to infringe on Canadian civil rights. I can tell you, hands down, 100%, without any fucking doubt, it's the Harper government that you should be way more afraid of. All right? Let's see this one here. By all means, let's overreact to events taken in Canada. A couple of strung out dudes get in the news, and let's shut down the entire country. I wouldn't support this strategy by a reasonable, intelligent government, let alone this abusive, none too bright bunch of incompetents. Yeah, you want a better Canada? AB 2015. You know what? It's nice to see that Canadians are, starting to wake up. Let's see the top comments here. All this evidence use. Allow the use of evidence gleaned from confidential sources without having to identify them in court proceedings, even to a judge. Doesn't that provide the license to make up evidence of confidential sources? Hey, you know what? No Kool-Aid. I'm impressed by the Canadians here that are seeing what's going on. Imagine how you guys would feel if you knew what I knew, that this whole thing was staged in order to bring in this legislation. But I'm just happy to see that so many people can't stand the fucking Harper government. The Harper government is still insisting the attack in Ottawa is a terrorist issue and not a mental health issue. That is enough to tell me that there's another agenda here. Yeah, I hope all you people that are there can see what we've uncovered collectively as a group investigating this false flag, 100% false flag. There's a little bit of hope there in the comments for sure. But these people, these psychopaths will not stop until they squash anybody's chance to stand up against them. They are beyond evil. This is so awful. The entire government should fall. Please, people, do your best to share these videos. Do your best to share my work, PK22, everyone else that's working on this. So many great Canadians up north of the 49th. Police State Radio, please support us. Share this information. Post on the comments. Share the work that we're doing. Let Canadians know. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.